what's up, everybody? Welcome to an exciting episode of the Vinnie Langdon Show. We are here in beautiful downtown Vacaville, and look who I brought to town. Who is it?
Go by the name of Hennessy, aka Hen. Actually, in the process of possibly changing my name to Heem, just for just to show a little bit of growth as I made as an artist. It's actually an acronym, stands for Haters Even Admire Me. So I think I'm gonna run with that. But you can call me Hennessy. Any variation of the name. I don't mind.
There we go. Now, before I went to the Vans Warped Tour this summer, I went to a show, Concerts in the Park in Sacramento, and, I went to go support my friends at Burn Halo, and there was another band out there, Some Fear None, and they said, we're going to go ahead and bring out an artist. We're going to bring out Hennessy on stage and have him do a little song with us. And, I was like, wow, let me check him out. And I found out that he does a little bit more than that. He even has a son who's on the set today. See, he's crazy. So go ahead and tell us, your background. When did you get started with, writing songs and making your own music?
I got started junior year of high school. And it just started off like, handheld tape recorder, taking other people's instrumentals and recording, making little cassette tapes. And it was for fun. And then I moved to Texas for like a year. My cousin Alizé is out there, and he's the one that really got me started doing music. And we got in the studio, did some shows, and then I moved back out here, and things have just been going real good since then. So I say like 99, so it's been about, 15 years almost?
Yeah, and that's interesting. You say, of course, a lot of, rappers and hip-hop artists, when they start making music and, they don't have a band or, they don't have any instrumental background. So it's kind of like, you take other people's beats first and get started and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, eventually you say, hey, I'm going to take the jump and learn how to use, Pro Tools and learn how to use these Fruity Loops and beats and stuff like that and start laying it out. And, I was just thinking to myself, too, a lot of, people when they start off and they say, I want to be a rapper, the first thing they automatically do is start, rhyming stuff and saying, but, it's not all about the rhymes. It's more about the story and the lyrics and getting it out there, right?
Yes, definitely. It starts off as a hobby, something to do to pass time, something you enjoy doing, but it gets to a point where it starts to get serious, and you start to think about, generating revenue from it, and getting exposure. It started off fun, but now I've gotten a whole lot more serious about it. I still have fun, though. Don't get it wrong. I love what I do.
Most definitely. Now, there's a lot of different styles and variations of rap. There's, of course, the stereotypical gangster rap. There's the hardcore stuff. There's, people that, have stories, their life stories, motivation, where they come from, their background, and tell us as an artist, what style of, rap and hip-hop do you do?
I always find it hard to really put myself into a category. When I first started rapping, it was more of a way to, let off aggression. I was going through some difficult times in my life. Just telling, what I've been through in my life. But where I'm at now, I'm in a good point in my life. So the music I make kind of reflects that. I make it's more positive music. I'm not a gangster. I'm not, in that kind of lifestyle. So I've never portrayed myself to be that way. I'm just, average guy, I like to have fun. So that's what a lot of my music portrays, enjoying life, whether it be, partying or whatever it is you do, enjoy it, I feel like life is too short to be walking around mad all the time and frustrated. I have a good life. I have a wonderful little boy and wonderful family, and a whole team of people that support me. So, I make music that makes me feel good, hopefully makes other people feel good. I do some inspirational stuff too to just motivate people who might be going through some kind of hard time, to get up and give them that extra push to get out and do something with their life, So I would put my music into a category of positive music, and not necessarily conscious, but just positive, It's about enjoying yourself,
Yeah, that's good. And, a lot of people, especially younger people, they say, music saved my life, and
I have a friend, that's his logo. His name is Penny. Actually, shout out Penny, man. Music saved my life. That's what it is. But
yeah. So I mean, for music, growing up, in the '80s, there's so much music, and early '90s, the hip hop and rap, great era.
Very great eras of music. I miss both those eras.
There you go. So tell us your music growing up, and does that inspire you a little bit, to make your music? Or what?
Definitely. I mean, I was raised on old greats like Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye. I mean, my mom used to have oldies jamming in the car, and I really I didn't appreciate it then. I was more into I mean, Pac is one of my biggest influences, and Outkast, a lot of the '90s hip hop groups. But I mean, those were my early influences. Now I get influenced from all kind of stuff. Like you said, I just did the rock song with Some Fear None, and I'm actually starting to get into that genre a lot more. But I just, music, just all kind of music. It all inspires me. So yeah, R&B and hip hop is my main thing. But anybody that's talking about something, I get inspired from it. I get inspired from just walking down the street and seeing people, enjoying themselves. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, most definitely. And a lot of artists that are in the rap genre, they're not really open to working with rock bands. They're saying oh no, I'm just straight up rap, straight up hip hop. I don't want any work with that. They just want to do their own style. But for you to be open with that, that's pretty cool. And where did you and Some Fear None collab on that?
Well, let me speak on the whole just doing rap first. I feel like you kind of limit yourself. Hip hop fan base, as big as it may be, only extends to a certain area. If you branch out and start tapping into other genres, you then tap into that fan base. I mean, and so speaking on Some Fear None, we hooked up through a friend of mine. Her name is Rihanna Rodriguez. Shout out to Rihanna for making that happen. But she was a promoter at a venue that I was at, and she was very impressed with the show that I put on. And so when Some Fear None came to her and asked her about a hip hop act that might be good for the song that they had going on, she recommended me, and I greatly appreciate that. And we got in the studio and got to vibe into the song, and it sounded amazing. And I was like, I'd be more than glad to be a part of that. And so we did the song, and came out better than what I thought it was going to be. And it actually started getting a lot of attention. Some Fear None has actually been was the #1 underground rock band of 2013, the 98 Rock. They had a bunch of songs playing on there. So when they put out this collabo and they heard about it, they were like, okay, well, we want to hear that. That's something different. And it took off. I mean, we did 4 weeks in a row. We were on the local lick show. And I mean, it's just gotten great response. Well, from that, we got concerts in the park. We just did Sacktown Rocks, and we actually got the fair coming up later on this month. I mean, it's just the opportunities have been just crazy, and the response from the people too. Like they love it. They tell me they're in love with Some Fear None. They hear me on the track with them, and now they're fans of mine. So I've definitely benefited from it a lot, and I've enjoyed the whole experience.
Yep. You got all those metalheads after you now.
I love it. I don't mind. Hey,
yeah.
And they buy music, so
yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Now, when people come out to some of your shows, and it's just you on the stage, you're not with the rock band or anything, and it's just you doing your own music and stuff. What's your shows like?
I try to feel out the venue. I kind of sometimes I'll put a whole bunch of songs on a CD and walk into the venue, see what the crowd is like. Is it predominantly women and men? What kind of people there are, and then I'll hand pick my list of songs based on what I see going on in the venue. But I try to give a wide range. I don't want 5 songs that sound like each other. I got to usually get about 15 minutes, and I like to switch it up and mix it up and make every song different, so you get a spectrum of my music and know that my music is very diverse. I don't just talk about one thing. I talk about all kind of stuff. I talk about food. What I'm saying? I'm a chef. So that's where that comes from. But I mean, I talk about whatever I feel like talking about, and some people may not be all the way into it. it's not my problem. I kind of do it for me and the people that do enjoy it. So yeah, you'll get a wide spectrum of music when you come to my show.
Yeah, that's exciting. Now, some of the venues that you play at, where do we typically find you at?
I did a lot of shows at it's the River's Edge bar in West Sac, but these days I'm just trying to branch out. I've been doing shows in Reno a lot recently. We just did one. I do Davis a lot. Davis is I actually lived out in Davis for a while, so I've got a little bit of a fan base and connections with a couple clubs out there. We just did one this Saturday that was off the hook in my opinion. But Sacramento, I've pretty much rocked every venue there is to rock in Sacramento, and I'm kind of trying to branch out, see some new faces. So anytime I get an opportunity to get outside the city, I definitely do that.
That's awesome. Now, originally, are you from Fairfield, California?
I am originally from San Jose. Born in San Jose. Spent a good amount of my childhood years there. From there, I moved to Fremont. From there, I moved to Union City. Then I made my way to Fairfield, and that's where I went to high school at. And then I've lived in Davis also before I moved out to Sacramento. So I lived all over Northern California. I try to, represent one area code or one city, but it's kind of hard because all of them feel like home to me. So Northern California is my home. I've lived all up and down it, and I love all of it.
Right. Now tell us, do you have any friends from, junior year of high school that come back to you and say, wow, man, you're still doing this,
I have like 3 or 4. Like the thing about moving so much is just you kind of lose a lot of the people along the line that you're close with. But I have a couple good high school buddies that they're definitely impressed with what I'm doing and definitely encourage me to keep on doing it.
Yeah, and that's definitely inspiring to, people out there, whether, they want to be a chef, they want to be a book writer, they want to, be a professional skateboarder or, whatever. It's like, the main thing is just keep on doing it because you never know what opportunities can come, and they always come at the most random times,
Definitely. Yeah, persistence is the key. You got to, if you want to do something, stick to it. There's no, you can't do it halfway because you're going to get halfway results. You got to do it all the way and continue, even if no matter how tired you are, no matter what else you got going on.
Sleepless nights, keep on going.
It's a lot of them. Yeah, late nights and early mornings. I know a lot about that, but it's all about persistence, man. Just do what you do and continue to do it as much as you can.
And enjoy it too, because there's times in our careers where it could get stressful, but hey, got to keep on doing it. Now, speaking of as an artist, there's a lot of people out there that maybe their main dream is to sign a record or maybe play a tour with some other artist, but as for you personally, you have a son, you got to support, maybe you can't be on the road 365 days of the year, maybe you got to figure out a plan and what you want to do as an artist. And what is your ultimate goal?
I'd say my ultimate goal is just really to definitely start generating revenue from it. I definitely do have mouths I have to feed, and you're right, I can't be on the road 365 days, but I got to balance, my family and my music, so in that aspect it's kind of hard, but I would definitely like to get to a worldwide level. I wouldn't mind doing it independent. I'm definitely not eager to try to go out and just get signed to a record label because I hear record labels are somewhat getting over on people, not and necessarily not all of them, but I think that just to be realistic, I'd like to be heard. I'd like to get paid for my craft and what I do, and I'd like to be heard on a worldwide level. I'd like to, people to embrace my music and check out my life story and see what I got going on.
Most definitely. Now, you put out a couple music videos with some of your friends and, definitely a lot of collaborations, and fun part about my show is we get to watch some of them. So, why don't we take a break right now and watch one of them? Okay. Which one is one of your favorites?
Oh, goodness. That's a lot.
Your favorite? It's like picking a kid, right?
Yeah.
I'm the best kid.
Goodness. Wow, that's hard. I'd say, You could probably check out Old School Feeling. Old School Feeling is one of my favorite videos. It's actually I'm actually part of a group too. It's called the Beat Knocks. Me and my homeboy Solomon Lopez, who is actually from Vacaville, where we are right now. And yeah, it was a real feel-good video. We had, barbecue at the park, had all the kids out there. It's just feel-good music, which is where I feel like my music falls into, the music genre. So I definitely feel like that would be something good for y'all to watch and check out.
All right, well, we're going to take a look and watch this video right here on the Vinnie Langdon Show. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about his music, where you can get it, and he's got a couple shows coming up you guys got to check out. And we'll be back right after this on the Vinnie Langdon Show. Once again, who is this?
Hennessy.
On the Vinnie Langdon Show. We'll be back right after this.
Yo, I'm an old school cat, I got an old school knack. A steady rockin', head knockin', bring that old school back. It was that real good, feel good, track that still good. Had me moving back then, and today it still would. The type of song when it came on, you had to ride to it. And not because of but because it had a certain vibe to it. The type of song when you remember where you was when you first heard it, chillin' with the homies getting buzzed like, hey, yeah, that's my jam, and I'ma rock with my fam, and we gon' play it all damn. If you're sippin' out your cup, if you're on something up with the homies, better let that play till the sun hide out, until we all ride out and spend all night out. And if you listen long enough, I'm sure that y'all find out this old school's here forever, man, it won't die out. Come on.
Way back to the day when the music was chill, everybody was laid back, cruising down the street with one hand on the wheel. Something about that old school make you wanna put it on repeat. Cause music nowadays just ain't what it used to be. Give me that old school feeling, that old school. Give me that old school feeling. Talk about old school.
Yeah, kick back and relax your mind. Follow me as we take a journey back in time to when the music was chill and so cool, and musicians wasn't flipping out and acting a fool. Back when I was in school, damn, it seems so long ago. Cause nowadays they don't make them kind of songs no more. Everybody got something to prove. That ain't the type of music I want to be playing while I'm taking a cruise. I'd rather hear something different while I'm riding, brother. Some old school, new edition of some Isley Brothers. You know, some of that real good, feel good music. And I'm pretty sure that most of these youngsters is probably clueless to it. So the Beat Knocks is bringing it back. He's something to vibe to while you riding in your Cadillac with your windows rolled down and your top back. If you're looking for that old school feeling, we got that.
I'ma take you way back to the day when the music was chill, everybody was laid back, cruising down the street with one hand on the wheel. Something about that old school make you wanna put it on repeat. Cause music nowadays just ain't what it used to be. Give me that old school feeling, that old school. Give me that old school feeling. Talk about old school. We're chilling in the park, just waiting for the sun to go down. It was me, the Beat Knocks, and some homies kicking that old school sound. I'ma take you way back to the day when the music was chill, everybody was laid back, cruising down the street with one hand on the wheel. Something about that old school make you wanna put it on repeat. Cause music nowadays just ain't what it used to be. Give me that old school feeling, that old school. Give me that old school feeling. Talk about old school.
All right. Well, we just saw the video. Good song, good music.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem, definitely. So you got a couple gigs coming up that, some of my viewers, if they're saying, wow, I totally dig the music. I want to come see this artist in person, they want your autograph because you're going to be famous now. No.
Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
There you go. So you're playing the State Fair in a couple months in August?
Sir, I'm actually playing the State Fair twice this month. Some Fear None has a gig booked there on the 14th, and they have a 3-hour set, I believe it is. They've been asked to the fair a couple times, so they get nice long time slot anytime they go. But we're gonna be doing the Born remix, which is a song I do with them, and then we might even be doing an acoustic version. So that's gonna be actually kind of interesting. That's the 14th of July, and the 17th of July. My manager, who I just linked up with by the grace of God, her name is Gina Holloway. Shout out to Gina, and thank you for everything that you got going for me. But she got me a 15-minute time slot at the fair on the 17th. It's all ages venue, so it's gonna be nice, good, clean, tasteful music for the family. I actually got my little boy that's gonna be joining me on stage and helping me do a couple of the songs too. So that'll be something nice for you to come check out. On the 20th of July, I'm actually nominated for it's called the Sounds of Soul Music Awards. And I'm actually nominated for 3 awards this year, which is also set up by my manager. But I'm nominated for the Best Male Hip Hop Artist of the World.
Manager. She's
yeah.
on a roll.
She's doing her thing, man. Real talk. I appreciate it. But yeah, Best Male Hip Hop Artist of the World. Best Male Hip Hop Artist Award. On the Verge Award and the Rising Star Award. So that'll be held at the Wood Lake Hotel, July 20th. I believe that is, and yeah, that's a huge opportunity. Definitely some exposure, and it just feels good to get recognized for what I'm doing. I've been working hard for a long time, and I definitely enjoy that. But yeah, other than that, I'm also part of a tour right now. It's called the Cali Summer Series Tour. It's with Dirty Royalty Entertainment. And we've already done 2 spots. We've done West Sacramento and we did Davis this past weekend. But we're looking to get out to Reno. We're actually doing Hollywood in September. And then also in September, we're doing Nevada City. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of what I got going on. But, if you follow me online, I'm constantly posting my shows. You can check into it and see where I'll be at next.
Most definitely. So where are those? You're on Facebook?
Facebook at it's Jeff Harris Senior 2. So I'll spell it out for you just in case. JEFFHARRISSR 2. Or you can just look me up, my government name, Jeffrey Harris, and it's got Hennessy in parentheses. And yeah, you'll be able to find out anything you need to know right there.
That's awesome. Now, from your early days putting out mixtapes to putting out actual CDs, and if people want to come out and listen to your music, can they stream it online anywhere? Or?
Oh, definitely. You could Google Hennessy and besides already the alcohol coming up, you'll see quite a few of my projects come up. I have a Top Shelf, which is available on iTunes, CD Baby, Rhapsody, pretty much all the online retailers. It's also available on my Reverb Nation, reverbnation.com/Heem, that's HEAM. Also on SoundCloud /Henny. Let me spell that out for you just in case you don't know. It's HENNY, HENN. But yeah, that's just my first album. I got my mixtape that I put out not too long ago, and that is on Bandcamp, topshelfhennessy.bandcamp.com. I've also got my first group album that I did on there. It's with a group called Forensic, and you can go on there and get that. It's called Music Improvement is the album. And then I've got my most recent project, which I brought you a copy of. It's The Beat Knocks, me and my homeboy Saul. This album is called Spittin' Images. You can find that on iTunes, CD Baby, all the other online retailers. And you can also find that on our website, which is thebeatknocks.com. Beatknocks is BEATKNOCKS. I'm sorry if I'm spelling everything, but some people don't. They spell it with the slang version and all that. No, but that's how it is. So yeah, you can look me up, man. I'm all over the place.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming down. And
appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, most definitely. So make sure you go check him out at the gigs that he mentioned earlier. and go check out, sometimes doesn't it seem overwhelming when you're like, hey, I got a Facebook, a SoundCloud, a MySpace, this and that. It's like, so many, right? But you got to do it these days.
It's hard, and that's not even it. Like, you can get so wrapped up in one of those websites that you just don't even, so it's all about just doing a little bit of everything. I get wrapped up in them a lot, but I'm still trying to venture. That's not even half of the avenues that are out there provided for artists to get out there and expose their music.
Most definitely. Well, we had a great time today here on the Vinnie Langdon Show, and make sure you go check out his music, go support him, go pick up an album or two, and we'll see you next time, and we'll have you back on the show soon.
I appreciate you, Vinny. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys next time on the road. Vinnie Langdon, and we got Hennessy, and we'll see you guys later. See ya.